Good morning. Welcome to story time. It's summertime. I hope some of you are getting outside and enjoying the sunshine. I know there's been a lot of rain lately, and I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but in the late afternoon and early evening, you hear a lot of, maybe humming is the word, or buzzing is the word, but we have an insect that is hatching. It's called a cicada, and they're really having a big hatching right now. But another thing that you might be hearing, especially right before and right after it rains, is some frogs and some toads. And we're going to talk about the difference between a frog and a toad. But before we do that, I want to tell you about our craft. We have several. This is one of them. It's a hedgehog. And then we also have an origami jumping frog. And boys and girls, I want you to see this. It's only 12 little steps of folding paper. And you're going to get this in your packet. And you've got two pieces of paper. And this is an albino frog. You know what that means? It means he doesn't have any color. And there he is. This one Miss Katrina made him. Yep. How about that? So for those of you that are interested in that, we have some things for you. So today we're going to talk about frogs and toads. Now they're not the same creature at all. And I learned some new things. We're going to talk about frogs first, just because this book is full of really pretty colors. It's a Julie Murray Abdo book, and we have a lot of really great books on animals. You should come down and see. Frogs can live in the water or on the ground, and that makes them an amphibian. Amphibian. Now you might know about trucks and military vehicles that can go into the water and out of the water. I just love these pictures because look how bright the colors are of the frogs. Now, a toad is also an amphibian, and so is this little lizard kind of thing called a salamander. But look at that. Now, some of you may know about frogs. Some of them are actually very poisonous. Poisonous. You don't handle them, you definitely don't eat them. So, frogs and toads look a lot alike, but they're different. Frogs have a smooth skin, and toads have a bumpy, lumpy skin. And frogs are kind of skinny, and toads are kind of fat. Frogs can hop farther than toads, partly because they're skinnier and lighter weight, and partly because of the way they're made. They can jump a long distance. Now, most frogs are between 2 or 3 or 4 inches. Now, some frogs can get bigger than that, and the biggest frog is something called the Goliath frog, and it is 12 inches long. That means it's a foot long. That is a big frog. Goodness. And it can weigh up to 7 pounds. Wow, that's a lot. Now, remember, frogs are smooth and they don't have any hair on their skin. This one has got polka dots and stripes. And remember I said something about the poison frogs? Well, there's over 100 different kinds. Poison dart frogs. And frogs croak. They croak. They're talking to each other. Look at that. See that? That's his throat swelling up. Whew, what a goodness. There's one jumping. Look at the bright colors. This is a tree frog. Now, boys and girls, I want you to know that tree frog can be this big, and it sounds like I don't even know how big. We have some that are on our back porch, and we go looking for them, and we find them, and they're about that big. But you could hear they're croaking all over the house. It's amazing. Most frogs live near water now. They could be in the lakes or the ponds or swamp. Look at that one. Remember I've told you about how birds cannot go to Walmart and get a coat, that they have to go somewhere else when it gets really, really cold, or they'll turn into a bird popsicle? Remember? Well, frogs do the same thing. Only they can't fly away like the birds do, so they go down into the ground and they hibernate. We've talked about that before. If they get too cold, they actually freeze. And then when it warms up, they thaw out. So there's a frog sickle. Now, this is an important difference between frogs and toads. Frogs have teeth. Toads do not. Oh my goodness. That's a big old spider. Poison dart frog, another one. Yep. And they carry their babies on their back. How about that? That's a good book. I like learning new things, so let's see if you remember. We talked about the difference between a frog and a toad. Let's see if you remember. Which one is the frog? Do you remember? This one has a really slick, smooth skin, and this one's all bumpy, lumpy. So which one's the frog? And which one's the toad? How about that? Now, the frog is near the water animal. It's an amphibian, and it has kind of wet, slimy skin. Now, the toad is also an amphibian, but they can live in a hot place. They can live in a place where there's not so much water because those lumpy bumpies on their skin are holding water. How about that? Who's got the longest legs? Do you remember me telling you? The frog can jump way far. The toad's got short back legs. They actually walk or take short hops. Now, remember that frog that I told you about, the Goliath frog that weighs 7 pounds? He's not going to be jumping very far. And which one's the skinnier one? The thin one is the frog, and the fat one is the toad. Oh, a toad has a smelly skin, and it tastes bad to the animals. So most animals don't try to eat them. Not after they've tried one. Blech. And remember, I told you the frog's got teeth, and a toad does not. So it has to grab its prey and swallow it. It's got a pink mouth. How about that? In the springtime, when it's raining and when it's not, in the evening, you can hear them singing and talking and croaking. The bullfrog can be very, very loud. A toad, there's that big old swollen throat. That's where the air is that makes them croak. But the frog's loud and the toad isn't. So now you know. A frog is got smooth, kind of slimy skin. It has teeth. It has longer legs, and it can jump farther. And the toad has got a lumpy, bumpy body because it's storing water. And it sings very quietly. It has short legs. It can't jump very far. It's got a dry, lumpy, bumpy body. So now, I don't know if you're going to get a chance to go outside in the late afternoon or evening and go looking for frogs, but that's the best time to find them, according to the people I know who tell me these things. So I hope you've learned something new. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Come on down to the library. We're here every day. If you want to register for the summer library program, you can still do that. Go to warren.beanstack.org. Oh, and before I forget, our videos are on YouTube now. You're watching that, you know that. But can you share that information? Because we moved from the Facebook to the YouTube. It just made it work a little better for us. There's a lot of videos there. So you go online and you check them out. And we'll see you soon. Come check out some books. Have a great day. Bye.